Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Amazing.
Shavua Tov, Yecheskel, Shavua Tov, brother. How was Shabbat? Okay, let's bring the wonderful light of Shabbat into this week. Every day we're going to bring a little bit more of Shabbat into the week so we could have a week which is full of Shabbat, Bezrat Hashem. Before we begin in Pirkei Avot, if you guys remember last week, we began with a prayer. So Kobe inspired me with the prayer. I think maybe we're going to do another prayer today. A prayer to open up the gates of the week, Bezrat Hashem, together. This is from the Arizal. May be the will in front of you, Creator of the world, and God of our forefathers. Lighten up my eyes with the light of your holy Torah. And save me from any stumbling block. V'ta'ut, or mistake. Hein b'dinei isur, rather in cases where something is forbidden. V'heter, something which is permitted or prohibited. Hein b'dinei mamenot, or in monetary laws. Hein bo'ra, or in teaching the halacha. Hein b'limud, or in the studying itself, the learning. Galenai v'abita niflot mitoratecha. Open up my eyes and let me see the beauties of your holy Torah. Uma shagiti, whatever I was mistaken, stand me up on the truth. V'al tatzel mipi dvar emet, ki Hashem iten chokhmah, because the Creator of the world gives wisdom, mipiv, dat utvuna, from His mouth, knowledge and deeper knowledge, Bezrat Hashem. So we should be able to learn correctly with the right mindset, and may the Creator of the world open up our minds to the Holy Torah. That's the prayer of the Arizal. What could be more exciting and invigorating than getting started with the prayer of the Holy Arizal to start off the week? Any questions before we dive into Pirkei Avot? Come on, Kobe, give me a good one. You got to start the week with a good question.
Yeah.
Sometimes a good question is silence also, you know?
What's the difference between the Arizal Tzitzi drop versus the Sephardi Tzitzi?
There's many different shitot. There's Ravad, there's Rambam, and others. It's pretty technical, but it depends how many chuliot, how the tzitzis are tied, and if there's tchelet, there's the way the knots are tied, and how many strings of tchelet, etc.
Right?
This is a mixture of two shitot, two opinions.
What are the names?
I believe this is Ben Ish Chai together with Ravad. Two of them.
What's Ravad?
Ravad is the name of a holy tzaddik. Ravad.
So there's different tzaddikim who also have their own raps. Like the Ben Ish Chai is the Iraqi, Baghdadi.
Correct.
Kabbalist.
Correct. His Hilullah was yesterday. The holy Ben Ish Chai. Huge tzaddik from Baghdad, yeah.
Cool.
Very, very great Kabbalist.
Cool.
Deep, very big influencer for the whole Iraqi. He says something amazing also about. He says that in Chodesh Elul, 1 hour is like each day is like a month. So it's like tremendously powerful, the influence of these days. So it's a good question. I don't remember. I should be able to remember all the names of all the sages and know their life stories, which is also very important. When you learn something from somebody, you want to know who this person was. Then you're able to connect to them more and which period they lived. And there's an amazing book called Shema Gdolim. It's a book from the holy Chida. We learned about him last week. The Chida is Rabbi Azulai. He did like an amazing composition of many different great rabbis and their books and where they were and what kind of stature they had in the specific generation and who supported them and what kind of support they received from other rabbis of the generation and with which rabbis they had interactions. And he brings an amazing work. Yecheskel, do you know if we have a Shem Agdolim over here? And he puts together the life and the history of many of the Rishonim and Achronim and all of the different stages of rabbis from over the course of time. So that's definitely, I would advise us all to get into that book. Keep going.
Is there an English translation of that?
I was just thinking that. I'm not sure. I have to check.
So now we have two things we have to check.
I have to check who the Ravad was and if there's an English translated Shem Agdolim. You know what the name Shem Agdolim means? The name of great, the name of great ones. And every time you say a name of a great one, exactly like Kobe says, who is that? I want to know who this holy rabbi is. Who am I learning Torah from? What's the source of this influence that I'm receiving? I want to know. I want to look it up. It's a good thing. It shows you want to learn the Torah properly. Number 3.
What is the mitzvah under growing beards? Is it a mitzvah? Is it a cultural thing that most people, I would say, in this community, grow their beards forever?
Well, the prohibition is really about using a razor to shave one's face. That's the hands down agreed upon prohibition that everybody agrees exists. So everybody will agree that, like you can see secular or hopefully not secular, people that are not Jewish, they use shaving cream and they just use a knife to completely. That would go into one of the forbidden commandments, not to use a razor. And in the previous generation, there's been, a lot of rabbinic discussions regarding electric shavers, which don't necessarily cut out the hair from the root. So, according to many great rabbis, one would be allowed to shave with a shaver without having any halachic prohibitions or any issues halachically. Nevertheless, according to everybody, having a beard was always a sign of greatness. It was, the rabbis almost always had beard, although there were some amazing rabbis that didn't. The holy Ramami Pano was a huge tzaddik. He himself did not have a beard, and there was others like him. But throughout the generations, the sign of greatness was people that learned Torah or served as rabbanim or dayanim in courts, Jewish courts, and had respectable positions within the Jewish nation. They always had beards. Now, all that said and done, there's also great spiritual pluses to those that have beards, because it brings down, the Zohar speaks in length about the greatness of the beard, and other places of Sod and Kabbalah brings down the great, that there's spiritual lights, and those spiritual lights are able to be received through the beard, and there's other reasons why one would have a beard, and why going with a beard would be something which would bring somebody closer to Hashem and have them, receive a certain frequency of ruach tara, or of purity of the heart, and to be able to connect to the Torah in a different way. It really depends where a person is at. There are many great rabbis which permitted shaving, many great rabbis that forbid it, even shaving with a shaver. They held that it was completely forbidden, very, very much on the side of, more in the Sephardi and in the Hasidic side of the table. It was really, shaving was not done. In the Ashkenazi and areas of Ashkenaz, and according to many of the great rabbis in the Lithuanian world, it was absolutely fine, and you had great people who were very well learned and very respected individuals who did shave. So there's not, there's but it depends on the person, it depends where they're at, it depends what they're looking for.
I wonder what the intention is though behind not shaving, rather than like, yes, it's a sign of like respect, and then you're well learned, and then many of our rabbis and leaders have worn them in the past. But what is it about cutting at the root of the hair?
That's
There some?
that's forbidden. That's one of the laws of the Torah, that you're not allowed to cut your face with a razor. Yes. Yes.
But the
Yes.
intention is to not cut it at the root of the hair.
Correct. So that could be discussed. What is considered cutting at the root of the hair, and there's certain shavers that are problematic, certain shavers that are not, and that depends on which opinion you're going with. Sorry.
I learned a bunch of stuff, and like the things that came to me is that the beard is the 13 attributes of mercy, and you want your beard to connect your heart to your head, and it's another way to connect your heart to your head.
Yeah.
You're almost there.
Like I said before, there's a lot of depth in why one should have a beard, and a lot of them is what's called ma'alot, upsides. You know, whenever somebody asks a question, it's always important to know also the way that we think. Before we go to Chassidut, we have to first know what's halacha. There's first the letter of the law, and then we could discuss the upsides and if somebody wants to go beyond the letter of the law and go to I wouldn't say extra, because in a certain sense, obviously using Chassidut or ma'alot, things that have upsides, that's definitely part of serving the Creator of the world, because the more that you're connected, the more that you're going to want to do more to get you closer to Hashem, and you're going to want to be mehaderet mitzvot, to beautify the mitzvot in a way that, you can buy an etrog and you can get the most simple kosher etrog, but over there you want to specifically get a nicer etrog, and there's many other examples. But it's always important to know, first of all, what's forbidden, what's permitted, and how can I now take this from the place of permitted, or from the place of what the letter of the law is, and now take that to be lehaderet zeh, to beautify it.
I was just sharing. I agree with you. I was just sharing what.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm trying to explain the. It's very. If somebody's not used to in the beginning when they're learning Torah and different halachot, it can almost be confusing. Like, hold on, what is it? Ask you a question. So you tell me there's one rabbi that says like this, and there's one rabbi that says like that. So I'm trying to explain. There's a beautiful system that the more that you learn it, the more you delve in it, the more that you live in the Torah. So then you learn to think with the sechel Torah, the intellect of the Holy Torah, and that goes with mutar, asur, what's forbidden, what's permitted, and then now how do I go and take what's permitted and beautify it, or how do I keep the halacha and now do a higher level, and that's constantly, that's never ending. But I always encourage you to give us another introspection into what we're learning. Obviously, that's what we're here for. Every one of us, we're more than welcome to share and to help us share what we know. That's what we're here for. Be'ezrat Hashem. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's a two-parter. Who's your favorite current living tzaddik, and who's your favorite? Of course, all of the tzaddikim are still, their neshamot are still living with us, but maybe their physical body is
that we'll have a talk about that after class. Okay. That's a whole conversation in of itself. Okay?
Yeah.
Anything else?
You gotta make Eliyahu's gotta make a reel out of your explanation of beards. That'd be really interesting.
Make
a reel, like a YouTube short. It's not like a 45-minute video, but like they look at the AI thing on there for like 30 seconds of an explanation.
Amazing.
He does that, so you can be like, what is beard? What is the
I want the Creator of the world to make a reel out of everything that I'm doing on a constant basis. Imagine if the Creator of the world, everything was like, that's a good minute. That's what we have to do. We have to realize that the metaphor of a video taking our classes, or of us understanding that what we say is going to be repeated and it's going to be used to strengthen other Jews, or to bring other people to within a certain headspace, or help people learn Torah. So that has to be the way that we're always thinking. That we want to use every moment to make a reel. What do you say about that?
Question.
Okay.
It kind of relates a little bit. It's about practical use of what we learn and what we say. So let's say we learn something in Torah or just in class in yeshiva in general that it makes sense. It's a really big subject. Like we've digested it, boom, done. But it's not practical. Like we practice our next day, and that doesn't apply directly, right? Um, my girlfriend, she was saying like sometimes that happens with her. She went to seminary for a little bit, and she said sometimes that happens with her, and it's hard to like just go back to regular life and try and apply some of these really deep concepts. I want to hear your thoughts, but I responded saying, yeah, absolutely. There's some things that may not directly apply, but there's also things that may not apply in our physical world that surely do elevate us spiritually. And that at least like while we're learning this Torah, it is getting us closer to God. And that's our biggest test. Is maybe it doesn't apply directly here, but Hashem is playing peekaboo with us, and we should just keep our faith as strong as possible, so that we know that even if it's not here, it's elevating us spiritually.
First of all, you gave her a very good answer, and that's a very good question. I don't know if it's coming from her or from you, but either way, it's a great question. It's a practical question, and it's a necessary question to be able to serve God for everyone on any level. So it's really, really important to talk about it. I'm glad you brought it up. So first of all, the answer that you said is correct. Like when we discussed in certain, portions of the Torah would seem to be mundane. Like if an ox gores somebody, how do we have these examples or scenarios? So we discussed how every part of the Torah is necessary, etc. But I think for the topics that we're discussing, when one comes about a part of the Torah or a level in the Torah which is important and necessary, and they don't feel connected to that specific halacha or that direction which they're being taught, I think there's two practically applicable steps that one can do. Number one is to take a small step towards that place, no matter how insignificant it may seem to the goal. Okay? Because once you take a little step, you're on the way. And then you give it over to the Creator of the world, and you begin to walk towards that place. That's number one.
What does that mean?
1 second, I'll elaborate 1 second. Number one is taking a step in that direction, and number two is praying for it. Because if we want to keep the Torah and we want to apply what we're learning, like we said many times, lishmor, to keep, velasot, and to do, ulekayem, and to maintain and upkeep the Holy Torah. So we pray for that every day. Every day in the morning prayers, we say lishmor, lasot, ulekayem. We need to lilmod. First we have to learn, and then we want to keep it and maintain it. It's a process. To take it down from the learning to the doing doesn't always happen immediately. But first of all, when I learn, I say, why am I doing this? I want to come to a place where I could practically apply this. So how do I do that? Number one, let me take a small step, because then I'm showing I really want it. What can I do? How can I do something? For example, let's say somebody never prayed before. Suddenly tell them you got to pray 3 prayers a day, and you got to do within the confines of certain timing. You got to pray morning prayer. First, you got to say Kriyat Shema by a certain time in the morning, and then you got to pray the Amidah, the Shmona Esrei, by another time. After that, you have a period of time. You got to pray Mincha before sunset, and then you got to pray Arvit, the third prayer, before a certain time in the evening, preferably. So somebody's like, okay, wait a second. I don't even pray 1 prayer a day. You're talking to me about when I need to pray every prayer and how I need to pray every prayer, and I'm not allowed to talk. I'm not allowed to this. How do I even start? You know what? It's not for me. That's just a misconception, because the Creator of the world doesn't want you to be beyond where you are right now. The Creator of the world wants you to want to connect to Him through His Holy Torah and through the confines of halacha. How to do that? It's a process. We don't jump to the top of the ladder. When you're climbing up, you got to go step by step. So first of all, take a step. I'll take 1 prayer. Let me learn how to do it. I'll start learning the laws so that I at least know. How could I apply them if I don't know? Slowly but surely, 1 step, another step. But never say it's not for me. Never say I can't get there. First of all, say, Creator of the world, please help me keep your Torah. Please help me pray every day, and help me know how to do it correctly, and help me stay in the confines of the Holy Halacha, and let me do it right. I'm in a different place right now. Let me try to get there on my own pace, in the right way, with guidance, with prayer, with sincerity of the heart. That's what the Creator of the world is looking for. When He sees that we're trying and our heart is sincere with His Torah, So sometimes we can even do a small action. It's considered like we've done everything that we would want to do, because he's looking for purity of the heart. When the creator of the world sees that somebody wants to do something, even sometimes they say, machshava kemaaseh, a thought is like an action. Sometimes you want to go do something and you don't actually get the chance to do it. But it's considered as if you did it because you wanted to do it. So if the creator of the world sees where you're at, and the creator of the world knows that you want to keep the Torah and you want to keep these new concepts which you just learned and you're not actually there yet. So if he sees your purity of the heart, it's considered like it's done. But you didn't get there yet. Eventually you'll get there. I can tell you guys from personal experience that there was many levels. I'm far from in high levels of keeping Torah, and I have so much more to go, and we all do. But I remember just in my journey of learning and davening and praying, there were so many things that I never would believe. Let's say amount of time that I was able to focus, and and originally it was so hard for me every word of Torah, and it was a real challenge. But as you continue to pray for it, and as you continue to try, and as you make a specific time to learn every day, let's say somebody wants to learn Torah and it's so hard for them, they put together, not like you guys are on time, amazing, you come committed every day, even if the rabbi goes over time, you guys are with him. That's because you guys are tzaddikim, But I'm talking about others. Let's say it's hard for them to learn. So take 5 minutes, but every day you show the creator of the world. I'm starting with 5 minutes, and I go by hook or by crook, by eshu b'mayim, in fire or water. I'm in those 5 minutes, and then those 5 minutes become 10 minutes, and those 10 minutes become 15 minutes. And this is the process of growth in Judaism, and it never ends. No matter how much somebody is observant, or no matter how somebody is committed, they will always discover new levels where they can become more advanced in their service to the Creator, and they always need to strive higher and do small actions. And with that recipe, it's a recipe for success and it's a recipe for growth. Just keep going slowly but surely before you know it. Whoa, where am I? How did I get here? And then you're like, okay, bro, slow down. Don't get haughty. There's so much more to go. He keeps going. And he's like, oh my gosh, I thought I'm here already. What do I do now? It's like, slow down. Don't be haughty. Slow down. You got a lot more to go, my friend. And that's how it continues forever and ever and ever. Backwards and forwards. Be'ezrat Hashem.
Thank you. Thank you for the Q&A.
Absolutely. We're good? Mishnah Ches, Perek Aleph, Pirkei Avot. So that's 8. 1-8, right? יהודה בן טבעי ושמעון בן שטח קיבלו מהם. Yehuda ben Tabai and Shimon ben Shetach, they received this Torah from Yeshua ben Prachia ben Itaya Arbeli. There's like this, we've been discussing every Mishnah, it's passing down from word of mouth. Each one is getting from the one before. The previous Mishnah we learned from Nitaya Arbeli. And Nitaya Arbeli, he didn't actually receive it from the one before. But many of these Mishnayot, one is receiving from in number 6. We said Yeshua ben Prachia ben Itaya Arbeli. They got it from Yossi ben Yoezer and Yossi ben Kisma. And the previous Mishnah we said Yossi ben Yochanan received it. That also was a receiving. But a lot of this is done by, in Mishnah Dalet we said Yossi ben Yoezer, Ish Tzreda Yossi ben Yochanan. So there's a lot of word of mouth. Then it goes back to Shimon HaTzadik Antoninus. And then in the previous Mishnah we learned from Antoninus, and we learned from Shimon HaTzadik. So a lot of these Mishnayot, it's being passed down, and one Mishnah is going from the next to the next. These are the foundations which are being passed down from throughout the timetable over here of how we started off. The whole Mishnah, this whole chapter was we're discussing how everybody received from mouth to mouth. Moshe got it from Sinai, and Sinai to Yoshua to Skenim to Nevi'im, Nevi'im to Anshe Knesset HaGdolah. and all of these different students to different eras, like we discussed. So Yehuda ben Tabai v'Shimon ben Shetach kiblu mehem. They got from Yeshua ben Pirchia v'Nitai Arveli. Yehuda ben Tabai omer, al tas atzmecha korchei hadayanim. Don't make yourself like these other judges, that they would pretty much sit down with the subjects of the judgment, to the individuals that are being judged. They would discuss with them before the case what their argument should be. You know, if somebody has a specific case, it's sort of like a lawyer. It's like a to'en, because it's not exactly like a lawyer, because there are certain accepted ta'anot, which are like requests or objections that one can come up with in a court case, meaning if he claims X, Y, and Z, so then that will be considered by the court in Jewish law. And if he doesn't accept, it's not based only by what the judge says. Like, if you're a lawyer, so you could play the system and figure out some sort of, based on the laws, what's within the confines of the law, and then you could win over the judge. In Jewish law, there are specific guidelines. So let's say if somebody will create, in a judge, he'll be in a specific, case, and he'll say one thing, even if it's a powerful thought or it makes sense logically. If the Torah doesn't give it any weight, it doesn't make a difference. It's not going to be upheld in court or considered in court, in Jewish court. But if somebody says a specific objection or a specific concept which he brings up in court, that will be considered, because that's considered a ta'ana, that's considered an objection or a proper. I'm losing the word over here, but a proper ta'ana, a proper claim. Thank you. A proper claim in court. So if the judge were to sit down with those that are going to be in his judgment beforehand, and he says, hey, if this is your specific scenario, if you claim this, you'll be in good hands. He's not telling him exactly that, he's not actually making the case crooked, because even if he's telling him true things to do, meaning if you claim X, Y, and Z, then that will be upheld in court, because he's really still sticking with the correct Jewish law. He's telling him, if you claim this, it will be accepted. So he's not telling him to lie or being conning. He's just giving him direction how to navigate this court case in order to be successful. The Mishnah is telling him, don't do this. Why? Because if you sit with this individual before the court case, it's going to look like there's something fishy going on. Imagine you're coming to be in a specific court case, and the day before you're sitting with the judge having coffee, and he's telling you exactly what to say and what not to say. Even though he's telling you correct things that will be upheld in court because of the Torah, not because of some sort of evil scheme or being bribed or something like that, but nevertheless, it's going to look like something which is an obstruction of justice. So we don't want to let that happen.
So are you saying it's allowed?
It's not allowed.
Why not?
Because
I see how it's such, but the judge isn't giving him answers. The judge is. It's like you're pulled over, and you say I have my rights until I get a lawyer.
right.
I have my right to hire a lawyer before answering to anything.
Okay.
Right? And then your lawyer tells you all of the rules.
Right.
It sounds like the judge is kind of like taking the role of this lawyer.
So very good. So let somebody else do it. It shouldn't be the judge. This judge has to represent justice. We said, "B'tzedek tishpot et amitecha." We learned about it in Chumash. The justice system has to be straight. If there's going to even be something which is going to look like it's crooked, even if it's straight, we don't want to allow that, because we don't even want somebody to have a misconception that there's some sort of scheme or something crooked going on.
I guess you also don't want to give the judge the option to have any more bias.
Maybe, but that's not the case over here. We're not discussing where there's bias, because we already discussed that that's not allowed.
No, but I'm saying if the judge meets with one of the sides before, think about it psychologically. They're going to hear more of their story. It's going to be a little bit more personal. I just think it creates more liability for the judge to feel biased towards that person if they're spending time with them outside of the case.
You're saying a good logical
You're saying that.
thought. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. But by the letter of the law, we could come down to say that if this judge sits with this individual and he's confined by the laws of the Torah and he's fully God fearing and he's not trying to to be biased or he's not accepting any bribes and he's just giving this guy advice by the letter of the law, that should be allowed. The Mishnah is saying no because even though this should be allowed, we don't want to allow it because eventually there could be chashad, there could be suspicion. When these two individuals are standing in front of you, Jack is with Sam, and Jack is saying that Sam stole from him, and Sam is saying, I didn't steal from you, and they're going about this court case. The Holy Mishnah says that when the court case is going on, at the time of the court case, both of them need to be in your eyes like wicked ones. When you're in the middle of you're listening to both sides, you have to go through this investigation. Check if somebody here is being dishonest, if there's some sort of crookedness in the case. We're trying to figure out who needs to pay, or who did this evil deed, or who created this issue. And right now we don't know who's on the right side or who's on the left side. So when I'm the judge and I'm looking at both of these and I'm listening to each side, I need to think in my mind as if both of them are equally dishonest, are equally liars, are equally wicked in their judgment. Okay? And I shouldn't think to myself, okay, this guy's holy, this guy's a rabbi, or this guy's a very righteous Jew, and he wouldn't say something dishonest. Look at him. He's a respected individual, God-fearing. I see him every day, and he learns so much Torah. Because if you do this, you won't be able to properly see something incorrect that he's doing, because you're already, in your mind, he's already tilting towards being on the right side of the judgment, coming off scot-free, or the other one being responsible instead of him. And even though at the time of judgment, when you need to listen to both of them, you need to look at them both as on the same level of wickedness or on the same level of dishonesty. Once he bangs down his hammer, I don't know if they do that in Jewish court, but once the verdict is given, they both should be looked at as completely clean, and zakai is somebody who comes out of a judgment without, there's zakai or chayav. On one side will be zakai, he goes off, he wins, and chayav is somebody who is losing the court case. They both should be winners in your eyes. When they accept it upon themselves, they're both sitting here. They come to do din Torah. They want to judge in the court of the Torah. So now, when you're judging them, you don't take sides. You look at both of them as if they could both be equally wicked, equally liars, equally conning, whatever it is, based on the case. Now that there's somebody that wins, Jack comes out as the winner. Mike is the loser. He lied, or he was dishonest, or he didn't realize. It doesn't make a difference. He's responsible to pay $100,000 right now. Okay, great. How do I look at Mike right now when we walk out? I'm going to look at him as the loser always. I'm going to look at him. No, they both accepted the judgment of the Torah. And even though I see that somebody here acted incorrectly, or somebody here is incorrect, even if somebody did an action which was totally forbidden, maybe this guy repented. When I'm judging them, I got to look at them on this side. But once they're out, I got to look at them on the opposite extreme. And even if somebody in court, he's able to get off from judgment, in one of the laws of Jewish court is, in certain scenarios, one could swear. And if they swear, then they could get out. They don't have to go to judgment. So let's say this guy swear with the name of God or whatever. It's a very serious swear. And he's now let off. And he's able to They don't need to go to court. If I'm the judge, I shouldn't say to myself, hey, this guy probably swore falsely. So he figured out a way to get out of it, but he's really responsible. No, I got to look at him. He swore. It's got it's upstanding. He is now, in my eyes, zakai. He's on the side of winning. He's on the winning side. This is another example of the logic of the Holy Torah. Okay, we got to judge this. We have a scenario over here. We got to know how to look at this. First of all, I'm not going to come discuss with you in the first place what you should say or what you shouldn't say, because that's not going to look straight. Now, once you're sitting in front of me, you guys are both equal in my eyes. You guys are both. I got to look at you, no matter how righteous you are, no matter how upstanding you are, no matter how politically correct you are in the community, no matter how rich you are. It makes no difference. As far as I'm concerned, you're just as evil as the other evildoer that's known as an evildoer, and everybody looks at him as Mr. Evildoer. Makes no difference. When we're in this courtroom, you're both evildoers. The second you both accept the judgment of the Creator, you're both looked at as winners. And even if one of you was incorrect and you did something wrong, maybe you did tshuva, maybe you didn't know, or whatever it is based on the specific case. But I don't continue taking that outlook that I had of both of you being evildoers. I don't take that with me into the street. As soon as we're done, you guys are both good. And even if you need to swear to get out of it, you swore, meaning I stick with the Torah and I look at you with the outlook of the Torah, even in throughout the course of the case. I got to look at you right now as an evildoer. I got to look at you right now as a person who's scot-free and a winner. That's how we navigate to be able to come to this place of true, proper judgment, and also how we look at other people. Imagine if the judge would receive all the time people, and he would walk around with all these people that, all the people that came into his court. This guy's a liar, this guy's a stealer, this guy's a rapist, whatever it is. He's walking around with everybody, with a title for everybody in his mind. That's not the way the Torah wants us. The Torah wants us right now to judge properly and not to have any ulterior motives and to have straight, proper judgment like we learned about it in Chumash. But when I'm done with that straight judgment and I give a verdict, now we move on. Also, that's the verdict of God. Once somebody subdues himself to the verdict of the Torah, to the judgment of the Torah, so now he's a winner. Either way, even if he loses, he has to pay it off, whether it's with money, whether it's with a punishment, whether it's with tshuva, whatever it is. But right now, he's a winner. We got to do what we got to do, and then we continue letting the process of the world continue. Bezrat Hashem. That's today's Mishnah. Hilchot Teshuva, the Holy Rambam. You guys want to look inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
So how we say all the prayers before drinking something, eating something, any of these things.
Okay.
Mizonot, shakol, any of those things.
I'm listening.
Does it make any meaningful difference to say it out loud versus whispering it to yourself or even thinking it in your mind?
Well, regarding being Yotzei Yedei Chova, first of all, regarding saying the bracha properly and being keeping the halacha, meaning if you need to drink and you're going to make a shakol nebedvaro, or if you want to eat a cake and you're going to make a mizonot. So there's first of all halacha. It's not ma'akev. It doesn't cause me not to be yotzei yedei chova if I go ahead and I say the blessing silently. I said a blessing, and the blessing is considered as if I blessed properly right now to the Creator. Now, if I can say the word for word, if I could say the blessing word for word, so then I'll be able to connect more to the blessing. I'll be able to have more kavanah, more concentration. But it also depends. Like it depends where you are. Sometimes you don't have the ability to say a blessing out loud, or you're waiting online in the office somewhere, and you're going to say a loud blessing, and you're going to cause people to turn around, or you're not going to be, or in that scenario, you won't even be able to focus more because it's not the right environment. So then you'll say it quietly. If you're at home at your kitchen table, say a blessing out loud, look inside, when you can. You could also, they have these laminated cards with the blessings. You can have it on your table. You can look inside, but you don't need to look inside in order to say a blessing, in order to be yotzei yedei chovatcha, you did your obligation. Your obligation is to bless before the food. You can bless. Then there's levels. If you're able to say a blessing out loud, if you're able to say a blessing from looking inside the text, matov, then it's better.
Oh, you answered the
Right.
inside the text.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I heard that saying it out loud, even if though it's almost quiet, is a lot. Moving your lips when you say the prayer makes it a lot more meaningful.
As opposed to what?
To just saying it just in your mind.
Oh, no. If you cannot say a blessing in your mind. You need to move your lips. When I said silently, I didn't mean to read it in your mind. You can learn Torah, you can study learning Torah and the Torah is considered as right now you're learning the Holy Torah, even if you're just looking without saying the words. But to actually say a blessing, you can't, it's not enough to just think it. You need to say it with your mouth. Silently, correct.
I'm thinking just very realistically in the Goy world that I'm going to be going back to. It's not going to be so easy or normal just to you're with a bunch of friends or you're in school, you get a coffee. Before class, I'm not going to say out, it's just not, I don't think realistically for me, I'm just going to say the whole prayer out loud for everyone to hear.
Again, Kobe, you have...
So I think, but I want to make sure that I'm doing it correctly and with meaning.
What your responsibility is to do your obligation. Your obligation is to bless before you eat. Bless before you eat. If it's in an environment where you can't bless out loud, don't bless out loud. You don't need to bring eyes and...
You can bless silently.
Yeah. You say, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, she'hakol niyeh b'dvaro. Or even Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, she'hakol niyeh.
Just move your lips.
Gotcha. Or
You have in mind. You're thinking about the Creator.
Even here right now, you're speaking, and I was thinking, I didn't say prayer.
Right. I was thinking about that. So I actually thought about giving that example. It's a good example.
I don't want to interrupt you.
So I'll tell you, it's interesting what you're saying because it really depends on which class. There are a lot of classes where people are encouraged, especially by the Sephardim. I found it's very common, even in middle of serious classes, people bless out loud. If there's fruits on the table or drinks, people bless out loud and everybody answers Amen. It's a beautiful thing. But by Ashkenazim and by Hasidim, other groups, it's not so acceptable to say a blessing out loud. Like often if the rabbis, let's say giving a big class over here, you sometimes could have a class of 30, 50 people. Imagine if everybody starts blessing out loud. So in that case, I would not encourage somebody to say it out loud. You say it quietly and you drink. But if you're in 4 or 5 guys, you're in a place where or if it's an open forum, if we're talking with each other, the same way somebody say comments, you make a blessing, everybody answers. That's also an ability. Or if a rabbi is now giving a class and he wants to drink, he'll make it out loud. Let everybody who's listening answer. Anyway, he can't speak while he's blessing. He's blessing the creator of the world. He can't do 2 things at once. So let him bless, make it. So every single scenario is different. But you have to know that doing, if you want to keep the commandments, you don't have to go, and especially if you're in places where there's non-Jews around and you could receive eyes, or you don't have to stick out. You don't have to stick out. If there's something that you're doing in your Judaism which sticks out, that's okay. But you don't have to try to stick out. If you can do something, in a place of, tzina in your own private ways, you can do it. If it's something which, what do you do if you're in the airport, and you need to pray? So if somebody's ashamed of themselves, they're going to say, I don't want to put on the phylacteries in the airport, because if I do, then I'm going to take eyes. I'm not telling you somebody's got to stand up there in the front of the plane and put on your phylacteries in front of everybody. You should take a little corner in the airport where you can before you get on the plane and pray there in a corner. But if you don't have a choice, what are you going to do? Miss putting on your phylacteries? No way in the world. Even if you're going to get eyes, put them on. Don't give up a day of putting on tefillin. But at the same time, if you could do it in a way where people won't bother you. So there are people which want to just show, I'm a Jew and I'm not afraid and I'm going to do it in front of everybody. Maybe their hearts come from a good place, because there is a place where it's like we don't have to be ashamed to serve the same way, lahavdil. You see other people from other nations doing things without shame. Why do we have to be ashamed? There is a point of truth to it, but at the same time, we don't have to be busy with making stance for God. We can just be busy with making stance for ourselves. We're trying to be sincere about our service and try to do it in a way which is the most pure and connected to the Creator. We don't have to go out there and make big statements and get busy, showing the world. Let the Creator of the world, He knows what He's doing. He's really good. He really knows what He's doing in this world. He can do it better than all of us. There's a reason why we've always been tormented throughout the nations, and there's a reason why people have issues with what we're doing, and we just got to keep doing our part and not stop what we're doing. God forbid to stop what we're doing, even if we're going to get eyes, but we don't have to bring the eyes upon us. We gotta bring our eyes upon Him. That's what we got to be focused on. I think just for the sake of the class, I think it would make most sense for us to take questions in the beginning and to stay associated with each topic, as it could create confusion. And obviously any questions related to what we're learning is perfect, but if we have a question, let's say, and I would also advise, if you have a question you're afraid, on a side point, and you think you're going to forget it, so just jot it down, and then when I take questions tomorrow in the beginning of the class, you can bring it up then, just for the sake of topics, I think, because or else I could also get confused, we're doing like 3 or 4 topics in the class, so. Hilchot Teshuva. So we're learning now from the Rambam, chapter 2, number 2. So the Rambam asks over here, Maya Teshuva, what is repenting? How can somebody receive full repentance? Hu sheyazov hachoteh chit'o. Somebody who sinned, he needs to let go of his sins. Visiro mimachshavto. And he has to remove these sins from his mind. Meaning, even in his mind, he has to let go. He has to not want these sins anymore. V'yigmor belibo, and he has to decide in his heart, shelo yaseu od, that he will not do these sins. He will no longer do these sins. Shene'emar yazov rasha darko, an evil one needs to let go of his ways. You can't say to the Creator of the world, please atone me for doing this sin and I intend to do it tomorrow. Does that make any sense? How could I? It's like telling somebody, I'm sorry for disrespecting you, but I'm going to disrespect you. I'm going to disrespect you in 10 minutes. You forgive me? What? You want to be forgiven? You need to really disconnect from that place of sin. You have to show me sincerity. Obviously, this doesn't have anything to do with what's going to happen in the outcome. If he goes ahead and he falls again, that's another story. But number one, you have to sincerely rid yourself of sin. And by the way, it's interesting, this connects to what you were saying. You see how everything is connected in the Torah. Here he says, Yazov v'libo. It has to be in his heart. He doesn't have to say it in his mind, in his mouth. It's not like a blessing. A blessing, you got to say it, it's got to come out of your mouth. Over here, he could just think, I'm done with this sin. I don't want to do it anymore. Creator of the world, please help me have the strength to stay away from this sin, to stay away from this evil action. Please help me overcome the evil inclination when it comes and it arises to me and it tries to get me to sin. Please, Hashem, please help me not be appeased by Him. I really don't want to sin ever again. I really want to get rid of it. All this could be in his mind. V'chen yitnachem al sha'avar. He should regret what he did in the past. Shene'emar ki achrei she'uvi nichamti. He needs to regret the sin which he previously performed. Like it says in a pasuk in Yirmiyah, that after I returned, I was comforted. So once I go ahead and I get rid of this sin, and I regret what was done in the past, and I accept upon myself not to do it again. Ya'id alav, the Creator of the world He will attest for this individual. The Creator of the world will attest for this individual. Yodea talumot, the Creator of the world who knows all of the most hidden things. Talumot is, he knows the hidden. Shelo yashuv lezachet. That this individual who sincerely regrets and accepts upon himself not to do again, the creator of the world will attest for him that he will not return to this terrible chet le'olam forever. שנאמר לא נאמר עוד אלוקינו למעשה ידינו. The full pasuk is קחו עמכם דברים. Take with you דברים. Words. ושובו אל השם, and return to the creator. Comes out that the creator of the world, he's me'id, he's attesting, he's testifying that this individual who sincerely repented will not go back to his ways. וצריך להתוודות בשפתיו, and he has to say the vidui with his mouth. This does have to be said with the mouth, like we talked about earlier on in the first, when the Kohen Gadol says the whole vidui, he has to say this confession with his mouth. ולומר עניינות אלו שגמר בליבו. I was mistaken in what I taught you guys before. To reiterate, it starts in the heart. He needs to think about it, but he does have to say it with his mouth. He has to originally think. He has to originally think in his heart that I will not come back to this place, and I regret what I did in the past. But then when he confesses, he has to say, I accept upon myself not to do it again, and I regret what I did in the past. It does have to come out of his mouth. Forgive me for that. So let's go over this. Says the Holy Rambam, what's tshuva? A person has to give up his evil ways and his sins and take it out of his mind and decide in his heart that he will not go back to these places. And he has to feel bad about what he did in the past. Not only accept not only accept upon himself in the future. There's something called Kabbalah al-Atid, accepting on the future, v'charata al-avar, and regretting what happened in the past. And once one comes to this place, the creator of the world, he will testify on this person's behalf that he will not come back to this place. He will not come back to this place of sin. He will continue in his place of tshuva, and he will be strong in his place. Very powerful. And then the person has to go ahead and do vidui, express with his mouth, and say these kabbalot, this aspects of what he's accepting upon himself, to no longer sin and to regret what he performed in the past. Hashem yizakeh otanu, we should be able to have the ability to do this kind of tshuva and be sincere about it. When we really express remorse and we feel the pain of our actions and we want to fix them, the creator of the world will see that and he'll take us out of it. He's going to make sure that we don't get back there, because like we discussed, after everything we do, we need the help of the creator to get there. We can accept everything, but we want to stay in tshuva. We don't want to just say tshuva, creator of the world, I'm sorry, and then 2 minutes later go back to where we were. We want to definitely do the best we can to try and okay.
Can you say tshuva on things that you're not completely sure that they're wrong, but they could be wrong?
Sure, you can do tshuva on anything. If you feel like there's something which you feel like it's not a sin, but it's something which you need to work on. So you're sincere about that to the creator, and you try to come to a place where you're able to fix those things. There's no rules when it comes to tshuva, meaning there's rules in how to do tshuva, but service of the heart, it's like prayer. And I also wanted to clarify, because I said there's no rules when it comes to prayer. There's a lot of rules when it comes to prayer, but that's the prayer that we're discussing when we pray 3 times a day and how to pray in the morning and night. When I say there's no rules to prayer, I mean there's no rules in what you can say to the creator of the world when you're coming to him and you're talking to him about your experiences and you're doing a calculation of your actions. You talk to him about your fears, you talk to him about your pains, you talk to him about your excitement, you thank him, you sing, you dance, you cry. It's all prayer. If you're connected with Hashem, it's all prayer. It's all prayer. You just give it over to him with sincerity. based on the day, based on your journey in that time, all of that, you go in with that, but also with repenting, discuss fears, thoughts. Oh, I thought I would be here by now. I wanted to be in this place. I tried. Maybe I felt like this was a little slip. It's not so bad, but even I didn't want that to happen. So please see my heart and help me even not slip a little bit, even though I know that I'm still doing great in comparison to where I was. And I really should give myself a pat on the back. I'm an amazing individual. And I'm really keeping to serve Hashem, and I'm, even when it's not easy, but creator of the world, that I could have done a little better. So I want to repent on this little slip. That's fine. As long as you're sincere, it's all good. We discussed the laws of slichot in this time of the year. We're going to go into that again more tomorrow in depth, but an interesting question. Those that say slichot in the morning hours, before the prayer, before netz, before dawn, and now they're praying before shacharit, before the morning prayer. Now, do they need to say Birkat Torah? Do they need to say the blessing of Torah before they start the slichot or not? אסור ללמוד תורה קודם שמברכים את ברכות התורה. It's forbidden to learn Torah before one says the blessing on the Torah. ונחלקו הפוסקים, האם קריאת פסוקים בדרך של תפילה ותחנונים נחשבת ללימוד תורה, ואסור לקרותם קודם ברכת התורה. And it's a conversation among the poskim. If when somebody says psukim within the prayer, is that considered learning Torah? Do you need to bless on that? Do you need to say the blessing on Torah before you pray? And in this scenario, normally you don't have this issue because you pray, and that לדעת השולחן ערוך, according to the בית יוסף, יש לברך ברכת התורה גם קודם קריאת פסוקים ותחנונים. Even before somebody says psukim from the Torah or tachnanim or requests, one should say קריאת התורה. That's the dat of the בית יוסף. אולם לדעת הרמה, which is according to the Ashkenazim, מותר לומר פסוקים. It's permitted to say psukim v'tachanunim and requests and psukim from the Torah, קודם ברכת התורה, even before he blesses on the Torah. שהרי בימי הסליחות נוהגים לומר סליחות תחילה, because during the days of slichot, like now in Elul, it's very common that people will say slichot before they say ברכת התורה. למעשה כתבו הפוסקים שמנהג כדעת השולחן ערוך שאף האומר סליחות בדרך תחנונים, יקדים ויברך ברכת התורה. According to Sfardim, it's better before you begin, you should say ברכת התורה before you begin the slichot. ברכת התורה. Yes?
Are you supposed to wake up, say the blood, the blessings, like thank you for having me not be a slave or goy and whatnot? And then
Well, that's not Birkat Torah. That's already Barachot. You can begin with just the Birkat Torah, and then afterwards you can do the blessings with everybody after you receive the.
No, but I thought you're supposed to say, Moda and then those blessings and Birkat Torah before you even leave the house.
Correct, but it's different if you're praying before dawn.
Don't you need to leave your house for meaning to say slichot?
Correct, but normally when you leave your house, you could say, you don't have to say. You could say the blessings in Bet Knesset, or you could say them at all. You need to say Modeh Ani when you wake up. That's
okay,
number one.
I thought you had to say all three.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need to say it, and then it depends on the time, and that's another conversation. Whether when you can say it, when you can begin saying the morning prayers, when you could say brachot, when you could say the Torah blessing. Each one has another time. We can get more into that. But over here we're speaking about specifically Birkat Torah, the prayer on learning Torah. If you need to say that before, it seems that according to the Sfardim you should say it before you begin the slichot, and according to the Ashkenazim it's okay if you don't.
So you were going to say the slichot before nets?
Yes. We discussed that in another class last week.
Yeah, so before nets, you're not allowed to say you're allowed to say modani, but you're not allowed to say.
You can say modani, correct.
But you can't say the blessings.
Over here he says you could say the blessing on the Torah.
On the Torah, but
yes.
not the blessings from making.
Correct. I think it's better to say the blessings afterwards, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
But that's another halacha that I
didn't
look at today. Are you in a rush? אתה רוצה להתחיל עכשיו? עוד 5 דקות בערך. אוקיי, שיחות הר"ן. Holy Rabbi Nachman. Here we are. Today is a very, very, very powerful lesson. I love this one. It's a metaphor on life. Says Rabbi Nachman, שיחה ו', שיחות הר"ן. היצר הרע דומה כמו מי שהולך ורץ בין בני אדם. There's an individual, the Yetzer Hara, he's like metaphorically, he's like an individual who's running, I don't know if you've seen this when you were a kid, but I definitely did. So the kid's like, what do you got in your hand? What do you got in your hand? He's running around. What do I have? So this individual, this Yetzer Hara, he's running around, this evil inclination. He's running around people with something in his hand. He's running around. Nobody knows what's in his hand. והוא מרמה בני אדם, and he's tricking people. ושואל לכל אחד, מה אני אוחז? What do I have in my hand? כל אחד נדמה כאילו הוא אוחז מה שהוא מתהווה. Every person's like, you have what I like. Because every person, whatever he's yearning for, that's what he thinks that this Yetzer Hara, this evil inclination has in his hands. But it's all achizat einayim. It's all an illusion. Every person runs after them because they see in this guy's hands what they want, what their temptations are. Everybody's running after this Yetzer Hara, this evil inclination. כי כל אחד סובר שיש בידו משהו חפץ. ואחר כך הוא פותח את ידו. And now this Yetzer Hara, this evil inclination, opens his hands. ואין בה כלום, and it has nothing in it. Empty. Complete illusion, mirage. הוא עובד על כולם. He's fooling everyone. כמו כן ממש היצר הרע. So too it is with the evil inclination. שהוא מרמה כל העולם. He tricks the whole world. והכל רצים אחריו, and everybody runs after him, הוא מרמה לכל אחד ואחד, and he tricks every single one. עד שנדמה לכל אחד ואחד, כאילו יש בידו משהו חפץ, and every person thinks that this evil inclination has what they're looking for. כל אחד כפי שטותו, every person according to his silliness, ותאוותו, and according to his temptations, ואחר כך בסוף, הוא פותח את ידו ואין בה כלום. And then all these temptations, it has nothing. This Yetzer Hara had nothing for you. He was fooling you. He tried to pull you in, but in the end, you didn't find what you were looking for. Nobody in the world, it says, that somebody could go through this world and he'll really get the tava that he wants his temptation which he's trying to attain in this world. No matter how much you want to run after your temptations, in the end, you're never going to be able to satiate yourself because temptations are temptations. It's just an illusion. It's just somebody running around showing you that there's something here. You think if you go after that woman, if you go after that sin, you go after that path, whatever it is, that food, that way of life, it's not going to really bring you satiation. It's not going to make you happy. גם נדמו כל תאוות של העולם. So too, you can compare all the temptations of this world. כמו עמודי אור הנכנסים בבית מן אור החמה, like rays of sun which are coming into the house that are flowing into a house from the sun. There's a sun up there and there's rays of light coming in. כנראה בחוש שהם נדמאים לעמודים מחמת הזריחה של החמה. They look like they're pillars from the way that they're shining into the house. וכאילו רוצים לתפוס אותן עמודי אור. You want to grab those rays of light. שתופסים וחוטבים אין בתוך היד כלום. When you touch it, there's nothing there. There's nothing in those rays of light. You ever saw like in a house, it could actually look like there's something tangible that you can grab onto? So you grab onto it, וחוטפים, ואין בתוך היד כלום, there's nothing in the hand. ככה עם כל התאוות של העולם הזה. So too, that's all the temptations of this world, and all the time the Yetzer Hara comes in front of us and he tries to fool us. He tries to show us that if we run after tavot libenu, if we go after the temptations of our heart, we're going to be able to find something that we can hold on to. We'll be able to find whatever sort of temptations we're looking at and whatever he wants to fool us into. But at the end of the day, we come there and we see he opens his hand. There's nothing. We grab that light and 1 second, am I dreaming? There's nothing here. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should go after the truth and we should be able to do tshuva properly and be mekayem the Mishnah that we learned and keep the halacha that we learned. And Hashem should be able to give us the light of the tzaddikim and the light of utilizing this holy month of Chodesh Elul to come closer and to connect and to have an amazing week, an amazing month, an amazing year, and an amazing life. Have a great day, guys.